Welcome to Crypto Bytes, the podcast where we take the news and information in the crypto space and break it down into bite-sized chunks. I'm your host, Nick.
This is Rob.
And remember, this isn't financial advice, but here is some financial advice. Save more than you spend.
And that's all the financial advice for the rest of the show.
And probably like the year. That's all I got.
That's all we got. Guys, hit the subscribe.
Smash that like button.
And most importantly,
you got to stake that ADA, ticker AGC. If you have some ADA, so hot right now, think about staking with us. Argyros Crypto, ticker AGC.
Big news this week.
Oh, yeah?
Huge news.
Poly got hacked. I heard.
It's insane how this happened. You did some research on this.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't really give much thought into these layer 2 solutions, as I'll call them. On these Ethereum blockchain. So I looked into it, and Poly got hacked. 253 million tokens taken from the Binance Smart Chain, 266 million for Ethereum tokens, and then 85 million in USDC taken from the Poly network.
This first of all, this isn't the first chain.
Taken from those utilizing the Poly network, taken from those blockchains.
This isn't the first blockchain to get hacked. We've already covered several others, and there's a lot more in the news that have been hacked this year alone.
I don't really know if I like it when you say blockchain getting hacked. I mean, I think that insinuates like Ethereum got hacked, Bitcoin got hacked, Cardano got hacked. I don't think it works like that, man.
You're right. You're right. And just, I guess, in the layman terms, when someone says Poly got hacked, they automatically assume, wait, the blockchain network got compromised?
Well, I think it's a lot of people don't understand really what it comes to. It's like what the Poly network does is a Poly network is a cross-chain protocol, and it's designed to swap between different blockchains, which when working correctly will allow for an easy way to exchange between your popular Bitcoin and your popular Ethereum to one of these smaller, more altcoin, as well as allowing dApps and DEXs to work a little bit more fluidly because of something like Poly. Also, with something like this in place, it allows for smart contract interoperability between blockchains, which is really like the bread and butter of a platform like Poly.
So it's like a fancy bridge that uses smart contracts to be a third party between transactions.
I liken it to that. I liken it to a company that has its own, a pool of liquidity and a set of smart contracts that are designed to allow smart contracts to work with other smart contracts. And when people hack the blockchain, what they're really doing is they're compromising one of these other layers that have to be built onto the blockchain. They're not hacking Ethereum. What they're doing is they're and I even don't like the word hacking. It's just used because that's the word that get the
There's
buzzword,
an exploit.
Right? Yeah, they exploit that. That's where they come in. They find the weakest link in the chain and they exploit it there. And what they're doing is they're exploiting the transaction process itself and not the blockchain. The blockchain is inherently secure.
So how did this attack occur?
Well, I'm going to try to break this down in as layman as possible because there's a lot to it. So essentially we have the attacker, and what they did was they initiate a transaction from another blockchain. In this case, it's a blockchain called the Anthology chain. It's a public blockchain mostly used for digital identification, the diddling.
Okay, the diddle.
What they did was they crafted a transaction. They made a transaction and they crafted a function name, and the way that they named this particular thing, when the transaction's created, they already knew what the end result should look like. So when it takes that information and it makes it into a name that when you look at it looks really close to what it should be, like near perfect transaction names, right? But the thing is it creates a collision of function signatures that in this case went undetected due to the non-existence of strict verification in the actual like the Poly network itself, but it was perceived. However, the Ethereum relayer, so the portion of all of this where it goes from Anthology to Ethereum, the Ethereum portion of this said, you know what, yeah, this isn't working. Like, I don't like this. Like, this isn't real. Like, it knew this is fake. This is fraudulent. This is a fraudulent transaction.
So Ethereum saw this fraudulent transaction, rejected it.
I'm really oversimplifying it here,
Yeah.
but it was rejected by the Ethereum relayer, and what that means is that the transaction exists, but it gets locked in place. So like Ethereum's not going to allow it to go any further.
So this,
but it's locked.
This hacker exploited the weakness in the validation process.
The hacker's
ontology.
trying to get coins from multiple blockchains, and they sent the transaction through originating from Ontology using Poly, right, to get to these chains.
Okay.
Once it hits Poly, it's trying to get to the Ethereum network.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
right.
Ontology to Poly, and then Poly to
Ethereum, right? And Poly's the middleman from Ontology to the Ethereum network. The Ethereum relay there sees this transaction trying to come through, and it says, no, this isn't right.
Okay.
So it locks it. Okay. But here's the issue. So since there's no real strict verification, the transaction it becomes solid on the Poly chain. So like it becomes a legitimate transaction on Poly. Think of it. Accepted to Poly's blockchain.
Okay.
So it was committed there. Okay. So what the next thing do, and we'll call this step 2. The attacker now manually sends the transaction to the Ethereum network by invoking a function called the Ethereum cross-chain manager and using the transaction data stored in the Poly network. Okay. And that's what they're using as the input for this transaction. Because they're doing that, they're able to bypass the verification of signatures and the Merkle proof for that the verify header and execute transaction function. And the reason being is because Ethereum already it trusts the Poly network and it trusts all of its checks and balances. So it allows it. Yeah, because you're referencing a transaction that exists on the Poly network and they trust Poly's checks and balances went through. And that's what it looks like when it sees it. It's going to say, oh, okay. But because he had to do it manually, the Ethereum relayer couldn't do that for him. It stopped it. But he's doing this portion himself, right? So he's adding all this information in. And now, once all this is there, what he can do, and this is where the exploit really happens, is he can modify the keepers, the chain link keepers, right? Think of keepers as... This is the secret sauce of all of this.
So
this allows smart contracts to function. It allows smart contracts to trigger without actually fulfilling the smart contract. This is really hard to simplify, but your smart contract has a fulfillment requirement, and you need to have that in there. And a lot of smart contracts will have checks on that to make sure it's all there and happening in order for the next piece of the smart contract to happen.
Yeah.
These keepers are put in place to allow all of this to function without really having that in place. It like tricks the smart contract into going forward. And this is what allows interchain communication, because now technically the smart contract is done, but you now have all of this resource that you're moving on to the next smart contract. That's the easiest way that I can put that, but you're able to activate these keepers now because everything looks good to the keepers. Okay, once you're able to do this, you can now directly call that verify header and execute transaction function without having to use like the Poly chain. Okay,
that's incredible.
So like what this does is it sends the unlock feature back over to the initial transaction that was created, right? It allows it to go fully through the Poly chain. It allows the Ethereum relayer to go through because you've just unlocked it, and boom. You've just now created a legitimate transaction that's gone through every check and balance that you have, and you've hacked into the system, basically like a man in the middle. But what you've done is you were able to fulfill the requirements of this third-party intermediary service and then trick the transaction to going forward. Ethereum natively knew not to let it go through. You had to break everything else around Ethereum.
Had to do it manually.
Yeah, but that's really what happened there. So we're talking 600 million that got taken. This is the biggest hack in DeFi history. I keep saying this word hack, but this is the biggest amount of money taken from a company using this cryptocurrency space in the DeFi realm, period, up to now.
Using an exploit.
Oh, but here's my favorite part. Hacker gave it back.
Hacker with a heart of gold.
Hacker with a heart of gold. You know what? That hashtag hacker with a heart of gold. Hashtag my hero. Let's be honest here. Hey, the man. Okay, so we talk about white hat hackers. I think we mentioned that on one of the other shows.
Yeah.
And he did create a wallet called the White Hat, and that's how he's kind of like spreading some of these funds around. But
He's like Robin Hood.
yeah,
Essentially like Robin Hood. He stole from the stagecoach.
And what I find really funny is the more I kind of looked into how the hack went down and the more about the hacker itself, the more I saw the correlation between Robin Hood as well, and I started to think, oh, that's cool. And then I looked a little deeper, and I'm like, well, wait a second. When the hack happened, this company, the Poly Network, was full in war mode. Like they were ready to basically say. They were saying flat out, we're out for blood.
We're gonna prosecute you to the full extent of the law. And I'm not like, first of all, this is like the Wild West. How are you gonna go after this guy? Do you know where he is? Wild West. Do you know where he is? He could be anywhere in the world.
I could be that. I mean, Mr. Tree. How dare you? This is what happens when we give it internet access. It could have been the fridge. I blame the toaster.
Hey, man, everything's interconnected. Could be that.
But
could be Skynet. I don't know.
So he gives it back, right?
Yeah.
They were on the warpath, and then he's on Twitter gloating, essentially trolling, and then the tune changed to a $500,000 reward for finding the exploit. And I know that he said no.
That's Poly trying to flip the narrative, because trying to put their foot down and say they're gonna sue him. How? And then they're like, okay, we'll just call you White Hack, and we'll give you this reward for finding this exploit. Can you please send us back our coins?
Well, hacker with a heart of gold here.
Yeah.
As of 8/12/2021, the hacker's given back all the funds except for the 33 million worth of Tether,
which was frozen.
Yeah.
Tether isolated, or they saw the address where the Tether was in, and they froze the funds in there and flagged that address.
It's a shame, man. It's funny. The identity of this guy, Hero, is currently unknown. All right. I was on CNBC. The hacker has 268 million of the assets locked in an account that requires a password from both Poly and the hacker to access it. As of right now, from the date of releasing this, I want to say mid-August, that money's still there.
He's like,
keys weren't given out, passwords weren't given out.
I'll give you your coins back. Here you go. Oh, by the way, it's multi-sig. So technically, they do have those coins. They just can't access them.
The man is a genius. But the crazy portion is when you look at the hack, on face value, it's interesting. The way that it played out, it's interesting. We have the White Hat in there as the hacker coming in, but what it also means, the implication for this in general, it's not a hack for crypto. It's not a cryptocurrency hack. That's not what happened here. It's not an Ethereum hack. It's not a Bitcoin hack. It's not a Cardano hack. It's not even a Dogecoin hack. It's a layer 2 hack. And this is just going to become more and more prevalent. This might be the biggest hack in DeFi, and partially because these cryptocurrency numbers are absolutely insane when you look at them compared to fiat. But
and it's not the first time this attack occurred. There's been similar attacks like this on these third-party intermediaries.
It's not going to be the last. In fact, I guarantee you right now, there's a team of people sitting back doing this at this very moment and being very successful at what they're doing.
Yeah, and I bet you a lot of these companies or projects, they're not talking about it, because if they did come out, their whole project would be worth zero.
What
their coins are not seifu.
You have all these people piggybacking on really stable blockchains, and what you're creating here is ecosystem fragmentation. It's ecosystem fragmentation, and because of this fragmentation, you have these people coming in, and they're benefiting off of manipulating a transaction.
Okay.
And you're never gonna know who these people are. How do you prosecute it? And these numbers, they're enough to run cities, counties, easily. And it's only gonna be a matter of time. It's only gonna get worse and worse.
So there's a lot of different projects out there that are in the same or similar state of Poly or Ontology. They're fragmented, and they're these third parties that come in. Hey, we have a solution for you to talk across multi-chain.
You want proof? You have Coinbase?
I have Coinbase. Yeah. Who doesn't have Coinbase?
Okay. You ever been offered free coin? Some kind of coin you never heard of? Some
You do a
altcoin or
little
something?
quiz. You do a little quiz and you get the free coin. I've seen those. Yeah.
You ever actually read any of that stuff? What it does?
I don't think anyone reads that stuff, but you'll see buzzwords like governance and
they're almost all layer twos, right? And then what happens
Yeah.
when something like this happens? You're gonna start seeing more coins come out, layer 3 solutions. Layer 3 solutions? What do you mean layer 3? Well, someone's got to police the layer 2 solutions, so this can't happen. We got to have a governance layer. Okay, so we're just a few layers away from an OSI model here. Like,
I can picture this. They're trying to build this mansion on rocky or muddy foundation.
a foundation's fine. Oh no, that's
foundation's not fine.
No, you're absolutely right.
Your layer 2 is not secure.
In fact, there really wouldn't be a need. We know where we're at. We've seen Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin for what it is. It's the store of wealth. And Bitcoin is amazing at what it does. But it's so big and it's so clunky that it's infeasible to use this as your day-to-day daily driver when you're talking about a cryptocurrency, right? And when you're looking at something like Ethereum, I mean, this is working well. Ethereum, as it stands right now, is working well. There's a lot of creation happening on there. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. A lot of cool, like NFTs are where they are right now because of the state of Ethereum and the creators that are working on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna say there's anything wrong with that, but now we're here. You didn't need plumbing until water became readily available to everyone.
Well,
and now we need to learn how to use it, and we're using it. So now we need an ecosystem that's going to be compatible for all of this, that can control all of this, that's designed for everything that we're at now in the crypto world and how we're using it.
correct. And ever since, I would say, the ICO age and even the rise of NFTs, you've seen a need for these side chains due to the gas fee in Ethereum, right? You want to move $100 worth of some NFT, Ethereum's going to charge you like $500, $600 to do so.
It's unpredictable. You know what? You got to stand on one leg, maybe sacrifice a pinky, and do it at a specific time in the morning.
But that's why these side chains were created, to try to solve that issue. But if you ever want to cash out, you have to go back onto Ethereum.
You know what? At the end of the day, I think you're right. I think that's really what it comes down to. All these different altcoins and all of these side chains, layer 2 solutions, are all just trying to find a way to lower the gas fee. Seriously, these gas fees are so unpredictable. Either lower the gas fee lower the gas fee and ensure that I'm going to be put on the block.
But there is a solution for this.
Oh yeah, there's a way to say goodbye, Gwei?
There's been a project that's been, let's just say, it's like the tortoise and the hare. It's been slowly trying to do verified work in terms of peer-reviewed papers.
Oh, did you say peer-reviewed?
They've been rolling out their updates slowly. It's been the butt of jokes. People call it a ghost chain. If you haven't guessed by now what we're talking about.
We talk about Cardano. We talk about that Cardano, folks.
And we have more news of Cardano. So finally, there is a date for when smart contracts are going to be rolled out on the network. September 12th.
Can you say that with a bit of pride and say it by its proper name? Alonzo, September 12th. What does that mean?
It means smart contracts are going to be enabled on the blockchain. And then 2 weeks later, there's going to be a Cardano summit. So a huge event. Really? There's going to be a lot of speakers. I'm sure they're going to pump Cardano. I mean, they're going to roll out their Plutus pilot program. These companies, individuals that they've been training, they've been working with to get them educated on Plutus. And I'm sure they're going to be there's going to be an expose on all these projects that have been worked on the beta chain or the.
So the real exciting news about all of this, when we talk about smart contracts, what that really means when it goes live is everything that Ethereum is right now and everything that people are building on there to do is all possible because of this smart contract and a series of smart contracts functioning with other smart contracts.
More importantly, all NFTs are native on Cardano.
Oh, the NFT space. I have very, very high hopes that Cardano is going to be the new home for a lot of NFT artists for very, very obvious reasons. But most specifically, it's going to be gas fees. One for minting to the artist, and the next for the actual collector, consumer, trader of these NFTs. All around, it's going to be better. And what makes an Ethereum NFT better than a Cardano NFT? I don't know. Do you have a wallet preference? That's about it. Because I can store on every decentralized platform that I want. But I can tell you this. I'll tell you the biggest difference.
The gas fee?
Gas fee.
The price the artist or whoever
Gas fee.
is paying to mint that NFT. But it goes beyond artists. It also affects the play to earn model of games that are being rolled out.
Oh, yeah, tell me about
on
that.
blockchain.
Because I know that you've been having a lot of fun in this.
Well, I've been playing around in Axie, and first to get your Axie to get your Ethereum onto the Ronin network, you're gonna pay a fee for that.
You and your
a
side chains.
gas fee, and then whenever you want to claim. Or not claim, but whenever you want to move your SLP or Axie, or ASX that you earned on the game, in order to move them from the Ronin back or to Ethereum, you're gonna have to pay a huge fee for that. Just in order to cash out. Now there are some solutions coming out to that game. The creators already talked about a DEX, but how long is that? When is that going to be released? Who knows? But if this was on Cardano, the fees would be so minimal. It would be just like, okay, let's just do this. Let's just copy and paste our code into the EVM. And
I can't wait for that.
There.
Smart contracts. This is going to be big. September 12th, which means that I fully expect this to be the catalyst that pushes Cardano forward. And if a lot of these NFT artists take it and these, I guess NFT games, I want to call them, like Axie,
NFT games,
move over into the Cardano ecosystem, and a lot of players and collectors adopt them.
Also, the DEXs, the swaps. You get
True.
less fees for swapping your NFTs or your tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this would solve the issue that we're seeing on Ethereum and all these side chains with these third parties that are being exploited. Because that's the weakness in this whole.
Oh yeah, a lot of this is native.
This whole map.
Well, this is one of the benefits of Cardano. You've got a blockchain that has been able to see where the failures are, and it knows and can see the growth of where cryptocurrency can be, especially based on where we're at right now. And I know a lot of people don't actually go out of their way to read the white papers or watch more of the technical documentation or videos that they'll put out for these cryptocurrencies, but some of them are pretty amazing. Like not even just talking about Cardano, some of these altcoins really are amazing pieces of work when used at their full efficiency. Sadly, though, a lot of these projects will never see that level of use, those number of users, so they'll die pretty quickly.
If they jump over to Cardano, there's going to be a growing user base there.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to solve this third-party attack issue that we're seeing.
Well, we can speculate that. We won't know until it really comes through. See, the thing about hacking, real hacking, is if anyone tells you they can make your thing unhackable or they can make something that's unhackable, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. And don't believe what they're saying. Everything's hackable. It's just a matter of time and effort. If someone wants to get in, they will. It's just a matter of time and effort.
Sure, but you take a look at the thought process that went into Cardano, their philosophy and views on how a chain or how a project should be conducted, not a move fast and break thing, but let's do things slow. Let's make it be thought out, because essentially you're building a financial system on top of this.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have these smart contracts that people just, whip up really quick and then have an exploit in there that you didn't see. That being said, there is a bridge, an Ethereum bridge to Cardano, but I believe, what is it, Emergo that's handling that. There's also third party that IOHK or IOG is working with to make sure that smart contract is tight.
Well, it has to be. With all the work that's already been done on the Ethereum blockchain, it has to be at near perfection and tested and then retested and then tested again after that. because we're talking about very large amounts of money here. People think cryptocurrency, and I always hear the same thing. Well, what does it do? What does it do? I'll tell you what it does. It makes people very, very rich, very, very quickly. These NFT artists, they're not making thousands. They're making millions. Millions. So people, like, you want something that's going to be peer reviewed. You want something that's going to be tested a million times over, because you're talking about real sums of money being moved around. Does it seem ridiculous that my buddy's playing Axie on his computer? Absolutely. Does it seem ridiculous when he shows me how much these little things are making him? Yeah, because I'm not making that. And you know what? This is digital money.
Yeah, and it's sort of the same way when people are like, what, you're selling stuff online? You make an Amazon shop, right? You're selling little widgets from China. Drop shipping. People were making thousands, millions of dollars off of that, and like you have other people like laughing at that. Like, no, that's legit business.
It's like a good friend of mine recently told me, we're talking about making money, and making money's no joke.